when we signed our deal with Amazon to make the Grand Tour, they paid us a lot, but we were like so busy looking at all the noughts on the check that we don't look at the other numbers, which is like, in the next 12 months, you must have 12 shows shot and on air in a new show that is like conceived, put together, created fully, that is spiritually close to Top Gear. And then here's the kicker, but without getting sued, right? And that's the little tiny detail where you go, oh, Jesus, okay. The first thing they want is that, what's your ideas for how is this show going to be like Top Gear but not be like Top Gear? So our lawyer said, well, you can still do things like have a place. You can't copyright having a place, but it can't be a hangar because you had a hangar. So we go, okay, we need that as a hangar. Shit, but we don't want to go in a TV studio because we knew that was never going to work. Jeremy then, next time we see him in the pub, he goes, guys, I think I've cracked it. He goes, last night I was watching True Detective, and he went, there's this episode where they have this like a religious meeting, like one of them deep south religious meetings. And he went, and they got a tent frame up. There's like canvas, some poles, people underneath it. We do that. He goes, we build a tent, and that's like our tent, and we take that around. He said, with that, we can then go to different places. Our studio is not in the same place every week. We'll be literally grand touring. And we were like, could be a name. We'll think, we'll put that to one side. He went, yeah, could be Grand Tour. Yeah, but when it's in the one, we take this tent. So very quickly, we're like studio director, cameraman. We're starting to talk to everybody like, Jeremy, it's not just, we've watched that episode. It can't be like that, You've got to have a flat floor for the cameras to wheel across, soundproofing. It's not those little poles. Where's all your equipment go? And Jeremy's like, that impatience he's got with like that whole how hard can it be kicks in. He's like, it's gonna be fine. Stop worrying. And we're like, no, we have to worry because it's not what you've seen on telly. Anyway, Amazon execs are flying over from LA for their first big meeting with the four of us to ask what ideas we've got for our new show. So we go over there, and there's four of us and Mark, our main lawyer, and we're going up in the lift. And Amazon want to know what our thoughts are. And Mark says to Jeremy, do not mention your tent idea. And we're all, the three of us are going, Jeremy, don't mention the tent. And he's like, it's a good idea. And we're like, no. Like Mark says, there's no budget for it. It's not been costed, nothing. It could cripple us. It could absolutely cripple us. Because the deal was, Amazon gives us a chunk of money, we make the show, and then what's left over we keep. It was the simplest deal in the world.
Right.
So we were like, we were going to make a good show, but, he was going, this could cripple you.
And did you guys get involved in the nuances of that deal, or did you just hand it? Because at this point, this is more than just another BBC contract or a...
Yeah, we did. We got involved in the nuance of it. We're like, first one was editorial control. Like, we were a licensed show, so Amazon can't stipulate or complain or whatever about what we deliver them. They have no editorial say. That doesn't happen anymore because they own every show. And like with the farm, we have to deliver cuts of the show. And
who owned the IP of the Grand Tour?
We did.
Oh, wow.
So there was the only deal that's ever done like that with Amazon. And they were like, but like I say, they needed to go with a big show to get going. So we were in the driving seat. Anyway, Mark's going, do not mention that tent. We go into this vast boardroom meeting room, and there's 4 or 5 execs from LA, us 4. I do not know why to this day quiches everywhere. There's just loads of quiches that hospitality have booked and laid out, thinking maybe British people like quiche. I don't know why, because none of us, it was like mid-afternoon. So we're all a bit nervous, and I was like to James, you start on the salmon quiche, I'll do the quiche Lorraine. And then I was like, Richard, you hit the spinach, and Richard's like, I've had lunch. I'm like, fuck off, just eat some spinach quiche. We'll get into it. So we're all chomping away. Awkward silence. And then one of the American exec goes, so you got any ideas for the show, how it might look? And I was like thinking, just let this ride now. Let this ride. We'll just have the awkward silence. They'll realize we haven't got any ideas, but we'll get something surely at some point. Awkward silence goes on. I'm looking at Jeremy. That man abhors silence and a vacuum more than nature. He hasn't got any quiche in his mouth. And I saw him go, and you're like, oh, no, because the silence has been too long. You see him drawing breath, and he goes, and you're like, trying to stop him. And he goes, I was watching True Detective. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake, no. And then off he goes with the story. Man. And they love it, obviously. They absolutely love it. They're like, this is a fantastic idea. So you take this tent, you build it. And there's no going back. So right then, we've got our Spinal Tap Stonehenge moment right there, and we can't get out of it. So, and sure enough, the building of this tent then has to be, the construction of it, creation of it has to happen. And we're like, to take this around the world, and there's got to be 2 of them, because it's got to be like that rock and roll tour system, 2 stages.
So your big fear here is cost, right? I mean, you don't dislike the idea of a tent.
No, we don't dislike the idea, but we're like, shit, it's going to clean us out.
Yeah. We're back with more in just a moment, but first, I want to talk to you about what it really means to trust AI in your business. Because adopting AI isn't just about speed or efficiency, it really is about trust. And IFS.ai is built for mission-critical industries with security, transparency, and governance at every layer. And that means that you can innovate with confidence, knowing your operations are protected and your data is under control. You know, customers choose IFS.ai not just for promises, but for proven results. Find out more at IFS.ai. Proud partners of the room where it happened.
Because we don't know how much we're going to spend, but we're thinking this is the last big job we'll ever get. You know, the Grand Tour. It's the last big job. So we could make some money now. What's on our minds? We knew we were going to make a good show. I mean, that big opening was $2.5 million we spent on that, the big opening in the desert. So we were not scared.
Do you know what,
of spending.
though? Like,
I mean, what?
It feels £2.5 million well spent.
Well, that was on the screen, yeah. Whereas a tent. So we were like, and I said to the producer who was like brought all the budgets together and everything, I said, do you think we can do this for £2 million? And he looked at me and he went, yeah. And I thought, you lying prick. But I'm asking you to lie. The psychology. We're all asking you to lie, you know. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, press the button on it then. So we get our 2 tents, we do a whole series going all over the world with them. And at the end, we're like, it's going to be 3 million, it's not going to be 2. And it was 5 million. The bill was 5. At which point we look at the contracts and go, does a first-class show need a tent that goes everywhere? I don't think it does. I think we'll just put it up in Oxfordshire and leave it there. So
5 million.
Yeah.
Hit right here to see Andy right now on Room Where It Happened.
In the next 12 months, you must have 12 shows shot and on air in a new show that is spiritually close to Top Gear, but without getting sued. I said to the producer who was like brought all the budgets together and everything, I said, do you think we can do this for £2 million? And he looked at me and he went, yeah. And I thought, you lying prick. It was 5 million. The bill was 5. And this one lawyer went, James, I notice on the Top Gear show says, oh cock, quite a lot. Is that a format point?